In 1816, summer just didn't come. It snowed in June, crops froze in July, and nobody on earth knew why. Farmers watched the sky. Preachers said the world was ending. It wasn't. The answer was already a year old, waiting half a world away, and it would take a century to find. The whole world felt it, and not one person knew why. How does a missing summer write Frankenstein? Invent the bicycle? Turn the sunsets in museums red? By the end, you'll know. The people who lived it never did. Go back a year, April 1815. Across a chain of islands in the East Indies, people snap awake in the night. Cannon fire, everyone agrees on that. A fort under attack, a ship in trouble, firing for help. Soldiers march out to find the battle. Ships sail out to find the sinking ship. There is no battle, there is no ship, and the sound rolls on, to islands 2,500 kilometers away. That's a bang in London, heard in Moscow. Whatever this is, it is not cannon fire. It's a mountain. On one island in that chain stands a mountain called Tambora, and it is tearing itself apart. The biggest bang in recorded human history. By the time it goes quiet, the top of the mountain is gone. Not the peak, the whole top third. More than a kilometer of rock blown into the sky. Where it stood, a crater 7 kilometers wide. Around 10,000 people die almost at once. Tens of thousands more follow, as ash smothers the island's crops. It is still the deadliest eruption we know of. And for the rest of the world, it hasn't even started yet. Because the deadliest part of Tambora wasn't rock or fire, it was gas. The blast pushed a huge cloud of sulfur above the clouds, above the weather itself. Up there it turned into a thin glassy haze and it started to spread around the entire planet. A dimmer switch the size of the sky, slowly turning down the sun. It took about a year to finish spreading, which is why the mountain's real damage arrived in 1816, an ocean away. In places that had never heard its name. That June snow falls on New York and New England. Quebec City gets a foot of it. Frost kills the corn in June, then again in July, then again in August. The sun hangs so dim that people stare straight at it and see spots on its face. In Hungary the snow comes down brown, in Italy red. New England farmers will remember the year by a nickname, 1800 and froze to death. And the snow is the gentle part. The real bill arrives in autumn. No summer means no harvest. Europe has its coldest summer on record. Bread costs double, same loaf, twice the price. Food riots break out. Switzerland is hit so hard it becomes a national emergency, and the cold reaches all the way into southern China where the rice fails 3 years in a row. It's the last time weather alone starves the Western world. All of it, one mountain. No sun, no harvest, no bread. So far, every domino makes sense. The next one doesn't. On Lake Geneva, that ruined summer traps a small house party indoors. It rains for days. Some days go so dark that candles burn at midday. To pass the time, the poet Lord Byron sets a challenge. Each of us will write a ghost story. One guest is 18 years old. Her name is Maury. Her story becomes Frankenstein, and Byron's own doctor picks up an idea Byron threw away and writes the first vampire story in English, the great-grandfather of Dracula. Modern horror is born indoors, hiding from weather a volcano made, and while the writers hid inside, painters did the opposite. They went out, looked up, and painted something that should not have been there. Sunsets. For about 3 years, sunsets everywhere burned strange, deep reds. And painters painted what they saw. Here's the eerie part. Take hundreds of painted sunsets, from long before the eruption to long after, and measure the red in them. The volcano years glow redder, the haze is still there. In the brushwork hanging quietly on museum walls. But the strangest thing this summer made isn't hanging in a museum. It's something you've probably readden. The hunger reached the stables too. Horses ran on oats, and oats were suddenly food people fought over. So horses starved, or were slaughtered. And the very next summer in Germany a baron named Karl von Drais rolled out a strange wooden machine. 2 wheels, no horse. You sat on it and pushed with your feet. The running machine, the direct ancestor of every bicycle on earth. Drais never said why he built it, but historians think that time says it for him. First the horses disappeared, then 1 summer later a machine that needed none. One man invented his way out. Whole villages chose another way. They left. From one German kingdom alone, 20,000 people packed up in a single year. Some for America, some in long ox wagon trains rolling east toward Russia. The first great wave of Germans leaving for good. In New England, farmers gave up on their frozen hills and went west. Among the families living in Vermont were the Smiths. Their boy Joseph would grow up where they landed and found the Mormon church there. One missing summer quietly redrawing maps. And if you'd asked anyone on those wagons what had done this to them, they'd have pointed at the sky. And through every one of these dominoes, the snow, the hunger, the monsters, the machines, hold on to the strangest fact of all. Nobody knew. The news still moved at the speed of a sailing ship. Most of the people freezing through that summer would live and die without ever hearing the word Tambora. So they blamed what they could see, the spots on the dim sun. That July, a rumor spread that the sun was going out, and there was real panic. The truth took about 100 years to arrive. It wasn't the end of the world, it was a mountain. And the mountain still had 2 secrets left. The first, you've probably heard of Krakatoa, the famous one. Tambora was about 10 times more powerful, but Krakatoa erupted after the telegraph was invented, so its story crossed the world in hours. Tamboras crossed by sailing ship, and arrived after the sky had already cleared. The second secret, Tambora may not have acted alone. Ice cores show another giant eruption just a few years before, from a volcano nobody has ever managed to name. Together they made the 1810s the coldest decade in 500 years. So, one mountain deleted an entire summer, the whole world felt it, and not one person knew why. Now you do. Next mystery, why does time feel faster as you get older?